Welcome to the Sisters Uncensored podcast, where we get into everything from childhood trauma to millennial adulting and all things in between.
We share crazy stories from the past and present to help us cope with the insanity that is our lives.
By sharing our perspectives, we hope to bring some relatability, laughter, and unsolicited advice that can help you survive the messiness of life along with us.
My name's Jessica Labita. I'm a millennial mom, wife, and marketing professional, and I am absolutely insane.
My name is Ashley Leneve. I am a millennial stay-at-home mom, avid golfer, and too mouthy for my own good.
We are real sisters, and this is Sisters Uncensored. Take this trip with us. Welcome to Sisters Uncensored.
Thank you for having me.
Yay!
Can't wait to be here.
So today we're going to talk about being a girl's girl.
You gonna introduce her?
Yeah. And we have one of the best girls with us.
Okay, well,
Lauren Farrell from Jooicy Tits Vodka.
that didn't flow well, but whatever. It's fine. Anyway.
The concept is being a girl's girl.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
You're not being a girl's girl.
I am
right
being a
now.
girl. I'm at least telling you.
I cannot.
You're like, that was awkward. Whatever. Anyway, go ahead. After you.
I mean,
Welcome back.
wow. So, a couple things I wanted to talk about today is like being, first of all, I totally want to hear all about Jooicy Tits Vodka and how you got started, because this name is fascinating to me and I need to like know more about the story behind the brand. But then I want to get into like how other women respond to this, because we've had some weird situations with things too. So we'll talk about that. But start off by like just giving us a little background.
Love it. So this is, her name's Friday. I always
love
say
that.
my girl, because everyone loves Friday,
Love
is
it.
the idea. And Juicy Tits was a joke back in college. I always say not a nickname. And basically I was in college, took my first shot of Fireball, and it tasted like Big Red gum.
Yep.
And growing up, my grandpa always had Big Red and Juicy Fruit gum in a little candy drawer. And so I take the shot and I'm like, oh my God, this tastes like Big Red. I said, they need the opposite of Fireball. They need Juicy Tits. And I was with a group of 5 or 6 people.
Genius.
And they go, that's a great name. And I said, really? And they said, that's a great name. So within the coming days, I took pen to paper and I realized how I could spell it, Jooicy. And I was like, wait, this is kind of cute. And then it was a joke for the longest time. I market tested it with groups of men, groups of women, bartenders. I would just go up and be like, you guys have Juicy Tits Vodka back there? And ears would perk up. They go, wait, what? That's real? And I always pretended like it was.
Yeah.
And it finally got to the point people wanted t-shirts, cases to work for me. So I said, I have to figure out how to do this. And in terms of spirits, at the time, and still do enjoy vodka. And in terms of production, it's the easiest, most scalable, most profitable of all the spirits. So I said, that's a good starting point.
Yeah.
Start there. We don't have to deal with agave plants and barrels. And, you know, I don't really have passion for that, but I enjoy vodka. And so let's get to it. And so basically, it was an idea for the longest time. COVID hit, and I finally had the time to devote to looking further into kind of the patenting and protecting of the trademarks and different things like that. And I guess the biggest headache or the biggest thing to figure out was the legality of each state and where to launch and operate first. So initially, I live in Jersey. Jersey would have been a great place to launch, but the process here took almost 2 years to get our license.
Oh my God.
Florida would have been our second state, so we just flipped the script and went to Florida first as of 2 years ago. And then we just got our Jersey license in May.
That's
Good for you. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
awesome. So exciting.
Very nice.
So how did the idea behind like all the charities and stuff come into play?
So I knew I wanted to give back to something in some capacity. This is my second business. I'd had a handbag brand for several years and had a charity portion to what we were doing there, and just said, if you attack something big picture, which is what I like to do, what's the best case scenario of what can happen, you know, why are you waiting to that point to give back to something if you can do it along the way?
Right.
And so obviously breast cancer was a natural fit, but I wanted to do my diligence within that community and make sure it's well received and that you're not offending or deterring when the whole point is to be light and happy and fun.
Right.
And so I kind of, again, market tested within that community. And again, 9 times out of 10, people had said, you're bringing levity to something so heavy. This is so refreshing.
Oh, that's
and
great.
So you're making light of something that's not light.
Right,
And,
yeah,
you know, you're trying to play into that. So once I got that feedback, that it was, you know, well received and tasteful, we proceeded to give back to breast cancer charities. And right now we give to an amazing entity. It's a nonprofit. The founder, Paula, she's a survivor herself. She drives a pink van that she calls a mobile resource lounge and salon around, and brings curated services to women undergoing treatment who can't leave their homes, or they need help getting fitted for bras, and empowering head shavings, drives them to doctor's appointments. So she does amazing kind of niche work and has built an incredible community of, survivors.
What did you say was the name of her charity?
Move Over Breast Cancer.
Move Over Breast Cancer. Awesome.
Yep.
So it's funny, we were talking about this, Lauren and I, yesterday or the day before, I guess, because we got some comments like on our collaborations on social media. And it felt like to me that like one of these comments was like a wise ass comment, like, oh, breast cancer related charities, that's very broad, or whatever. And my initial reaction is always defensive. I'm like, fuck you, like, why would you question that? Like, you're an asshole. And so that's when I like tagged you and I was like, hey, what do you think about this? I'm sure she can tell you all about it. And I love how you like hammered right back, like, this is it. And we did it like with a smile on your face.
You were
that was like, huh.
That was handled so beautifully, because if it were me, like the way I respond to trolls is not the same. I can just say that. But I was like, oh my God, way to fucking stick it to that asshole.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't say anything back either, which is usually like, okay.
Close, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. But like, what a fucking shitty thing to do.
So we're like newer to this, obviously, as far as just like being out there on social media, I would say. And I mean, you've got a little more time ahead of us with your brand, but it's weird because you get like people that just fucking hate on you for no reason. And you're like, why? And that's why I was like, especially with us collaborating and helping each other out and being girls, I was like, we need to do a girls episode today and talk about some of this other stuff about like the bullshit hate you get, why people are this way, like what in real life too. Like, I feel like for us, we've had both sides of the spectrum now, and it's still, like I said, new stuff that we're experiencing, like in our lives generally, where like we'll go places and people are like recognizing us from viral social media videos, and
that was so fun.
It's weird.
It's awesome.
And you're like, it's like uncomfortable a little bit, and then, but then on the flip side of that, you have like these trolls who just like are pouring shit on your social media to make you feel like shit. And you're like, don't you have anything better to do with your life, And
I think that's so key is you have to think, number one, the positive of all the beautiful people and the good people that are out there. I like to focus on the positive as opposed to the negative. But then being a Libra, I guess, seeing two sides of things, you take yourself out of your shoes, put them in that person's shoes for even a half a second of like, how do you have the time, number one, to troll people's pages and think of something to say and then say it?
Really?
You're obviously negative or in a low spot and miserable that you have, that in you. Because I could never fathom going to someone's page and knocking something.
I agree.
So number one, there's that. And I also think, obviously, it's not someone who's in your shoes, vice versa. If they knew what goes into putting yourself out there or speaking your truth, or the fact they're hiding behind half the time it's a fake username kind of thing. There's something to be said for, obviously, I think it's usually a lack in that person's life or viewpoint or whatever it is that they feel like they have to stoop to that level. They have to bring you down so they can feel better. That's sad. I feel bad for you.
No, it's true. And it's funny because like I think a big reason of why we started doing this was, one, it's therapeutic for us.
It is.
But I think too, like we wanted to bring light to different things that we've experienced in our life to try to help people and to not feel weird about talking about shit that you might be dealing with, right? Like your fucked up childhood or your crazy aunt or whatever that might be, right? Like everybody's got their shit. And so we want to do good in that same sense, I guess.
Yep.
And so it's weird because like we know too that we're super outspoken and that we have our opinions on things and that not everybody's going to agree, and that's fine.
Very blunt.
Yeah. You know what? There's nothing wrong with that, though. There's something to be said for being genuine and real. And you look at the people that have such a facade up, or think that, this whole fake persona, that looks exhausting to keep up with, to have to maintain. So the fact that you keep it real and, speaking and echoing back to what you said about being a girl's girl, the first time we had interacted was through social media, but then on the phone, you were so genuine and so honest. And I also love that you were so right to the point of like, we want to collaborate, what you're doing is awesome, how good, and just so genuine.
Yeah.
And then we executed it. And, here we are again. So that's just so refreshing.
Yeah.
And it's rare, but when you do find it, it's wonderful to find.
I think so too. We have a really good network, I think, of like women around us who have been supportive. And it's funny, like a lot of them we found through our agency to help us, connect with new people, especially down here because we're from up north. So being in Point Pleasant and recording out of this studio, we don't really have connections with a lot of the local businesses, right?
Yeah.
And so these guys really helped us to connect with like turnkey women and some of the amazing people that we know from this area. And that's kind of how we found you. I saw your product and I was like, this is
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, this is dope.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you run into like challenges with your marketing at all? Because we've noticed recently a lot of our stuff is getting censored.
Okay.
Like,
Like shadow banned.
Which that makes me so mad because
Right.
there's
I
so many
know.
things that are allowed where you're like, how is this allowed? And
Yeah.
I'm being,
Yeah.
censored or shut down a little bit.
Yep.
I would say not so much in terms of like posts on social media, but more so just interactions with people again. Like it's not a fit for everyone and that's okay.
yeah.
I always say Entrepreneurship 101, whether it's a podcast or a beauty brand or a vodka brand, know your core customer and never forget who they are and never forget how you speak to them and how they
Right.
like to, be communicated with and to.
Right.
If you never lose that guiding compass, you'll be successful.
I feel like you'll know your people. You know what I mean? You find your people, you know your people. Like you said, your core customer is,
Yep.
you're going to know who they are. And you're going to know exactly who's not. And
Exactly.
as for those people, it's like, good luck.
So
Exactly.
it's interesting that you bring up like who's not. So talking about like being a girl's girl and helping each other and like truly wanting success for other women, I think is something that I'm super passionate about. And I was actually like going back and thinking about just like myself generally and like how I feel like I kind of got to this place of like how I became this person. And I think about like being driven, working hard always, putting myself through school, and building a career, like a corporate career, long before we ever started doing any of this stuff. And it's things that I'm like super proud of because I worked really hard to get there, and I'm sure you understand that, right? But with that comes an element of pride where I am fortunate that I get compensated well for my hard work. And so I want to share that joy with people, my friends, my family, and we're like, Ashley, same sort of thing. Like I feel like super generous. And I know they say like everyone has a love language. Mine is gift giving. Like I love to give people things. Like it makes me so happy. But I've learned over the years that the more successful you become, and the more generous you can be, and as a gift giver, the better gifts you're giving people, the more people become offended by your generosity.
Interesting.
Yes.
I could see that. I could definitely see that. I mean, I don't know. Again, like if I'm giving gifts to anybody, it's because they're my people. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like it's like we've connected in some way. I know you're a good soul, so I know it's not going to be received that way. But who the hell are you giving gifts to that are fucking like looking at you like that?
I mean, it happens, like picking up tabs and things, and
Oh yeah, I could see that.
like
Yeah.
where people get offended. I mean, I've bought really nice birthday gifts for people, and I think, sometimes it can be perceived as being boastful, and that's so not
Right.
ever
That's
my
not your
intention.
intention.
No,
right?
that's not the intention.
And I think the things that I would be gifting people that I truly care about are things that I would want and
Right.
love, right? Like good shoes and nice bags and things like that. So like, I don't know, in my mind, I like can't understand that either, but I know for a fact that it has happened where like there's been gossip about gifts.
My advice to you is stop giving
Stop
gifts
giving
to those
gifts.
people.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else
obviously.
to say. Whatever it is that you got for them, you can give to me.
But like you said,
Like, that's outrageous.
going back to what you said, if you reach this certain level of success where you're able to do that, that brings you fulfillment. That makes you happy. That's your love language.
Yeah.
You're taking care of your people in the way
Right.
that
Yeah.
you like to.
Yeah.
I feel like they're maybe not, like you said, they're not your people if
No.
that's the pushback.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's stop giving them gifts.
Well, I have obviously
since.
since this situation occurred. Or
Was it anything good that I would like? Can you take it back?
No, it wouldn't fit you.
Damn it. Because I'll take it back.
No,
I just go show up at their door. I'm like, hi, I'm here to take that gift that you talk shit about back.
So
That's crazy.
I think too, like another thing about just like being girls, yes, is that sort of that happens organically, right? These things occur as you start to build your success, and you start to realize people who maybe have been part of your circle for a long time and now they're not, and you kind of have to weed people out.
You kind of just outgrow them naturally sometimes too. Like people just kind of fall away, and it's like it happened. I have a couple dear friends for years and years, and then you're like, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
To the point like you're sending a text like, hey, like did I do something? And you didn't do anything. I think it's just like you're not on the same level of life anymore, if that makes sense, or season of life. And there's a saying that I love, that people come into your life for a blessing or a lesson, or like blessing or a lesson kind of thing. And I think that's so true. Like you look back at, you know, growing up and different phases of life and who's in your life for those seasons, so to speak. And it makes sense.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I could see that. I don't know. I feel like just as I've gotten older, and probably maybe after having my daughter and things like that, I have like such a low tolerance for any kind of nonsense that like my people know who I am and I know who my people are. So I'm kind of more along the lines of like, I can go off the grid for 4 or 5 days and they'll be sending me texts like, just confirm you're alive. Like, but they know me, you know what I mean? Like they know that's how I am. Anybody who's like pushy, or maybe a new friend that's like, I don't know, I could tell like something's not gonna gel. Yep. I just cut it right out. I don't know, that's me.
Yeah.
I cut it off like a 6-0. I'm very
so like that.
I'm very black and white like that.
Like
I don't
cut you off like a limb if she needs to.
But
Literally.
I think it comes down to, as you get not older, but like as you get older and you realize how valuable your time is, and how you allocate it, and how if I'm allocating my time to you, it's because you obviously mean something to me. Right? You're making time as you get, especially you're busy with work and a podcast and kids and life, you know?
Just life. Exactly. I totally agree with that.
Yeah. I think too, with success comes, again, like I said, this like want and desire to be around like-minded, driven people. Not everybody is that way.
Correct.
And so I would rather be around people who are. Right. And it's just interesting how like you can be so supportive too of certain people even in their entrepreneurial endeavors over time. And you notice when you start to do your thing, who you were there for, that's not there for you.
There.
Yeah, I could see that.
Which is a shame, because if everyone could just kind of build one another up as they grow, what's wrong with that?
This is what I'm saying. Why can't we all help each other get to the top? Like,
for example, there's an awesome local tequila company called Red Cadillac. It's mango infused. It's so delicious. It's two sisters. We were at an event recently. Yes, you have to. We were at an event recently, and I think it's how you kind of look at the world. You think it's abundant, or you think it's like scarcity mindset, right? So if you're thinking like, ooh, this is my product and my vodka, and I don't want to talk to the tequila girl, versus you're talking to the tequila, oh my God, this is so amazing. How can I help you? And we're bonding over stories of like being in the trenches in the liquor industry.
Really?
And, you know, have this nice connection where you're leaving saying, call me anytime you need to vent or this or that. Like that is so much better than that, like, kind of that, again, just a negative vibe that some people have in terms of like competitiveness within a space, or it's not even in the same industry always. It's just like women, I think you guys can understand, sometimes have that like, there's that underlying, it's jealousy in one way or another usually. And it's unfortunate that that's the way it is. And so echoing back to what we were saying about, you know, women and networking in particular and building one another up, that's so refreshing when you find it, but it is hard to find. And I'll admit, for the longest time, I've always been a girl's girl, but it's just finding that tribe of people who, you know, fit and mesh. And
your tribe.
Yeah, your tribe.
You have to be careful too, because I mean, there are shitty people out there, right, that are going to have ulterior motives and use you, right, essentially. And it's like, I mean, we have a friend who, she runs a deli in Jersey City. They are like huge in the community with the police officers and the firefighters in Jersey City. Before we had even an episode live for this podcast, we had a float with our logo and everything in the Jersey City St. Patrick's Day parade.
That was awesome.
And like, talk about being a girl's girl and like doing something awesome. Like she literally made all this stuff for us and was like, come down. We thought we were just coming to the parade. Like, meanwhile, we have our own banners and floats, and it was like her way of just like helping us get started. And it was like,
that was
that's
really
a freaking
cool.
girl's girl.
Yeah,
you know
absolutely.
what I mean?
Something that extravagant,
And that
then it
was.
could be something as small as like writing a Google review. You
Right,
know what
yeah.
I mean? Like, it doesn't even have to be anything like crazy, but like, you know who your people are based on things like that.
Yeah.
You know, we had someone who had commented or left a review for us on one of our platforms, whichever it was, and it was so nice and long and like the whole thing. And I was like, oh my God, that was so, she took so much time to like sit and write this out. Like, and she's a self-employed business owner, female, whatever. And like, she grew her business from the ground up and like just respected the hustle. You know what I mean? It was just that, and just wanted to support. I feel like we had a couple different women that we've met since we started this, even before we started this, that they've just been like super like, go for it. Like, absolutely, totally here for you, reposting and things like that. And then we have like more like people, like I would say, that you not necessarily wouldn't expect, but have actually said things to you. Like, what are you trying to be famous?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's so negative. I
And
hate
I'm like,
that.
no.
Like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, I did like an Instagram post because someone had come up to me. This was like in the beginning, but they were like,
We're still in the beginning.
"We are," but I mean like in the very beginning.
This is Jump Street.
Yeah, right. But they were like, "Oh, well, what do you like? What's your goal here? Are you like trying to go to?" And I'm like, "Fucking no! Like, I'm not. I'm just trying to talk to my sister and like."
Have some
something-
fun and
right,
like
yeah.
you said,
Fun.
resonate with people.
Exactly.
Right. If we get a little content creation out of this that we can monetize, fantastic.
Right.
But otherwise, it's like we're not trying to go to Hollywood and be celebrities. Although we are going to go to Hollywood.
Now, I couldn't be a celebrity if I wanted to. Are you kidding me? I don't like to leave my home,
No.
people. I'm an introvert. Okay, it's hard to believe.
small.
It's true. Our circles are very small, but at the same time, like literally, it's like pulling teeth to get me out of my house. I don't really want to go anywhere. I just want to sit on my couch with like a glass of wine, watch Love Island. Like that's my life.
Yes.
Okay. Like, and in between, and that's usually from like 9 to midnight. That's my time. That's how I spend my time. Otherwise, I'm being a mom all day long, and I'm a housekeeper and a chef and like all these other things. So to me, it's like I couldn't.
a pretty shitty business partner.
She's right. She's absolutely right. She's totally right. She's
Just keep her here.
no, she is. It's because listen. Who are we kidding? I'm the talent. All right. Just kidding. Jess is the brains. I'm the talent.
That's perfect balance right
She's
there.
really good. It's a really good balance. We have a flow. We have a flow. That's it. All right. Like I investigate people, run background checks, and she does like the logistics of everything else. And then I just show up with my makeup done. I'm ready. What are we talking about? Like, it's called balance, people. Okay.
So funny. So do you have like, is there like anyone that specifically like inspired you or helped you like along the way with your journey?
Oh gosh, I'd say probably I am very lucky to have very supportive parents.
That's
And
awesome.
That's great.
That is huge when your parents are just open to their child being an entrepreneur because they're very straight-laced and strict and like their paychecks and their 401 and like to have a kid who's like
Consistency.
this black sheep who's like, I want to quit, I want to do this, I want to do this, and it's so uncomfortable for them.
Yeah,
right.
But for them to still be supportive and do everything that they can within their power to help try and make your dreams become a reality is huge.
That's awesome.
And so I think like it definitely starts at home. And then I think it's a very select few good friends that are constant cheerleaders that you can call any day, of the week or time, and they're there for you. I have a supportive boyfriend, so it's just kind of those people in your close-knit circle. But in terms of bigger picture, I would say probably Sarah Blakely and Kendra Scott are two of my like female self-made billionaire
I love
idol
it.
women.
Yeah.
Who just again kind of march to the beat of their own drum, and I like how people that reach that level of success and stay true to themselves and always still humble.
Yep.
Is huge.
Yeah.
And they just are both kind of role models of mine in that capacity.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's good. I
That's
love
really
Kendra
nice.
Scott.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know.
who would you say is somebody who inspired you?
Aside from
know.
me, obviously.
Let's be honest.
I mean, it's hard to say, like, I can't really say anyone specifically for like this sort of thing, but I have so many badass women that I work with professionally in my corporate life day to day, and like I've reached a really good place in my career where I can pretty much choose who I want to work for, I feel like. And so I tend to follow strong women from place to place and job to job because I want to partner with them and work with them and learn from them, right? Like I'm all about like finding people who can make me better because they have skills that I don't have, and I have no problem admitting that I don't have certain skills. I think that's why working with other women and collaborating is so important, you know?
And I think that's also nice that you have that kind of self-knowledge of these are my strong suits and these are my things I'm weak at. Like that's, not everyone can do that, to take that self-assessment of like, wow, I suck at math. That's the first thing I'm going to outsource. It's just someone I can hire as an accountant.
You know what I'm talking about. Wait. Speaking of online haters, this is amazing. I actually think I have it written down because it was so funny. Hold on.
I'll read it verbatim.
Oh gosh.
So Ashley, go ahead. You tell the story.
So we talked about in one of our episodes how when I was in high school, I gave my dad the same report card every single year from my first marking period of freshman year because it was honor roll and we got paid for our grades. So like I literally kept it in my underwear drawer, and every time it was like, oh, where's your report card? I was like, oh, let me go get it. And he never noticed, and I got paid, you know, at the time it was like a few $100s. So I felt like, oh my God, this is like when cigarettes were $5 a pack and you bought a 12-pack of beer for $12, you know what I mean? Like, so it felt like it lasted me forever. Okay, so at the time I was like, I don't know, it was like a $300 payday to me in my head, thinking back, like that's how it is. Well, it's not, okay? Like the math doesn't math, I get it. I gave the man the same report card for fucking 4 years.
If you could have seen the hate that came from this.
Oh
like,
my God.
It was like a snippet of her talking about it on the podcast that we posted to promote the episode.
Right.
People were like furious.
They were like, she's either lying. She's lying.
It doesn't make sense.
Or I just am not a mathematician, okay? Clearly I wasn't paying attention to math class, all right? Obviously.
So this guy comments,
It was freshman math.
Turn.
Oh, fuck you, Turn.
Turn.
All right, I'm just going to start there.
Turn goes, based on this snippet, I can tell this podcast is old white ladies complaining about every little thing that bothers them, all while maintaining a but only God can judge you attitude. Looking forward to getting many more of your manly ads.
How does that even make sense?
And what's with the profiling? Why do people always have to
So
profile?
wait, this is the best part. So we're manly. Then Ashley replies. Do you want to tell her how that went?
My response back was something to the effect of, I can tell, because he said like, I can tell this is whatever. So I said, well, from what I can tell, you are definitely the type of person that was like breastfed until you were 7. And I just left it at that.
I love it.
And then they came back and kept going on and on about how now you're offending my relationship with my mother. I'm like, oh my God.
Eventually you just stop.
They continue to argue with themselves, which is actually hilarious. Because I'm like, oh, you're still
going.
You're still going. Yeah,
Yes.
okay. You definitely were breastfed until you were 7, I can tell.
Maybe 8.
Yeah, really.
So we decided like when we were building our brand that we are going to be the people that fight back on social media. Like you're not going to sit there and bully me and cancel me and try to do all this shit. Like
I just think it's funny.
so
like,
we find it's like
it's hilarious.
It gets exciting.
Like
Like
about your
game.
brand, your Sisters Uncensored.
Yes.
You have to be yourself.
Hold on.
True.
It's like hilarious.
We'll be like, ooh, we got a good one. Yes. And then we start to like.
Do you want to
think,
take this one or should I?
I know, like, and it depends on what they say. Like, we'll decide who's gonna fire back that day. Sometimes, like, if I have wine, I'll be like, brr, 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 and
Other
like,
times she's like, maybe you should just listen to the whole episode and like then really
I try to be
understand. And I'm
nice.
like, oh my God, you're so polite. Fuck you. You don't like it, change the channel, you piece
Exactly.
of shit. Go away. It's not my problem.
That's the weird part, though, with social media nowadays and the world nowadays. It's
Yeah.
like everyone has a platform to have an opinion, which is a blessing and a curse. But if you're going to have, like, it's just, you're putting yourself out there. That's the risk. And I think it's cool that you've decided to answer back and push back. And that's awesome.
I just usually respond to people like as stupid as they sound. Like I'm going to give you something
Match
that's-
their level.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to sound this dumb. I'm going to call you out for being that dumb. It's fun though. I kind of enjoy it. I actually really like it. So bring on the hate, motherfuckers.
I'll send you my LinkedIn trolls. You can send me
listen,
LinkedIn.
after the first one, Jess was like, "You have a new title of community management." I'm like,
Yeah, you're the community manager for social.
I do my best work after a glass of wine. You
You have
usually
to
do.
tell the story you were telling us earlier about your LinkedIn psycho.
So of all platforms, LinkedIn's not really a site where you troll.
No.
You can have an opinion. It can be different, but it's not like where people troll.
Not
Right.
So
really.
this guy, he's got a picture that looks like it's from 30 years ago as his profile
It's
picture.
Dad.
Imagine.
Dad's profile picture for his LinkedIn is definitely 30 years old. I'm telling you now. I'm sorry. Hopefully it's not.
He comments something like nasty about knocking, like, well, I see like sex sells or something like that. And I was like, I usually wouldn't engage just because like be the bigger person is kind of my MO, especially on LinkedIn, like be the professional.
Right.
I was like, literally like a day ago, I did a post on being kind, and you're obviously stalking the profile to some regard. So part of me wanted to say like, can you please see last post about being kind? But then I was just like, you know what? No, I said like, portion of profits goes to breast cancer charities first and foremost. And I kind of put him in his place politely.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, a couple days ago, he comments another derogatory something about a little like day at the office of me walking into a liquor store to set up for a tasting. And again, like negative. And I said, please take your negativity to someone else's page. And then he has the nerve to DM me like we know one another and we're connecting. He goes, it was great connecting with you. And he says something about something positive. And I was like, whoa. Part of me wanted to just delete it, leave him unread, whatever it was. But I said, no. This is something about this one I want to respond to. And I said to him, I said, well, I really don't remember connecting. And I don't know if it's positive because you've been leaving nothing but negative, nasty comments on my page. Why the change of heart? And he goes, oh, no change of heart. I'm all for small businesses and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, this is honestly BS that you're doing a 180.
Right.
But
Phony.
again, like what is going on in your mind, in your day, that
Right.
you have the time that this is what you're deciding to post.
Yeah.
And then the 180 in the DMs was weird.
We had one on YouTube where somebody it was like some page from God knows where they're like, these are not the original Sisters Uncensored. We're like, what are you talking about? I've never heard of you. And we responded back and I was literally like, I'm gonna take this one. This one's on me. So I'm like, first of all, we've never heard of you. Second of all, we're trademarked. And third of all, I said something like to the effect of like, be kind, come here and show support. Otherwise, go be a fucking twat waffle elsewhere. Take it elsewhere. Okay? Like, I don't know what else to say. Bye.
True. No,
But that
it's
was,
true.
and it shut it right
Shut it
down.
down.
I guess like twat waffle is a strong one. I highly recommend using that if you want somebody to shut the fuck up.
I think being a strong personality and like a successful entrepreneur or even willing to like put yourself out there on a platform like we're doing, because I wouldn't necessarily call us entrepreneurs yet. We're trying.
We're working on it.
Listen,
it's a learning curve.
That's part of it. That's a huge part of it.
Like what you were saying earlier, people get like bitchy and jealous, and it's kind of crazy. It really is.
And it's honestly, it's unfortunate. I was going to say it's more unfortunate than anything, and, you know, and it's sad. And like we were talking about before, you lose some people and you outgrow some people, and you find, you know, new ones and people that kind of match the energy of where you're at, and again, are all for building one another up. 'Cause
Right.
I think this is the other like big thing is there's something so big about just being true to yourself and knowing who you are, and you're made your unique way for a reason. So like if people could just focus more on that and let that shine, as opposed to like, oh, I'm never smart. She's got longer legs and her dress is pretty and I'm not as smart as her. Like that insecurity that some people have as their self-talk.
Yep.
Yeah.
Again, it's like, it's sad. It's sad that people can't just have, you know, belief in themselves and know what they're bringing to the table and celebrate that. And yeah, there's going to be someone prettier or smarter or all this, but you know, you have what you're bringing to the table, and it's so special to you that you have to celebrate that.
Absolutely.
And I think too, once you get to like that point in your life where you really are doing something that brings you joy, and it's not about doing anything for anybody but yourself, then you don't care.
It's like, water off a duck's back.
Yeah.
You
But
know
I
what I mean?
think
Like,
that's
for
what
sure.
people don't like when people get to that, like, don't give a, you know, attitude in life.
You can
And
say
some
fuck,
people,
we don't
it
mind.
takes longer to get there, but that don't give a fuck attitude of like, I'm finally like in my season, right? I'm like finally doing me.
Yeah.
People take a long time to get there.
Yeah.
You know, and everyone's on a different path. But when you finally get there, I think it's that energy that some people hate because they're so miserable or so untrue to themselves, or that's so far away for them to get to.
Yeah.
And so that's their only like defense, is like to throw hate at someone,
To try to tear it down.
to try and tear it down.
I've been like told,
It's a jellyfish.
especially by men, that I come off as intimidating, which I think is so funny because I'm so not intimidating at all, or at least I don't try to be. I don't think I am. You know what I mean? But shut up. But many men say that, and I'm like, why? Because I walk into a room with my head held high, and like, because you got a dick, like I don't understand, like what about that? But it is, to your point, it's like some sort of an element of confidence that just exists in you as a human, I think, and it's your aura, right? And you can't control it, and so some people react positively, right, to that because they can see it, and it like makes them want to be around you and to be a part of what you're doing.
I was gonna say those people who appreciate it and respect it, they gravitate towards you. You know what I mean? Like, and you gravitate towards
and in a
people
good
like that.
way.
In
It's
a
not
great
like an
way.
energy vampire, the opposite, you know?
It's like I want you to do the best that you can do. I want you to do the best that you can do. I want us all to be great. Why do you have to want anybody to fail?
No.
Like, I mean, if I hate you, maybe, but I don't really hate anybody.
No.
Hillary.
I don't have that energy to hate people.
No,
At this point. Like, why would you? I don't want to spend my time like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
And honestly, looking back, I never really did. Like, girls would gossip, and there's like, it was never a level I wanted to get to.
yeah.
I just didn't like it. Like, I was in a sorority, and we'd be sitting a group of 8 girls at a table. Jenny gets up and goes to her class, and they're bashing Jenny. I'm like, what's the point of sisterhood?
Yeah, really.
I think though too, like sort of with the whole small circle thing, and where you kind of get to your place where you're content with yourself and your people, there's like an element of wanting to be a part of that too. And sometimes people want to become part of your inner circle, and you don't really want them there. And it's not to say it's like can be perceived as being a mean girl thing, but it's not about that. It's not trying to be exclusive. It's more trying to be protective of myself and my time, kind of to your point earlier.
Well, I think also like
I don't feel bad about not being friends with people.
And you shouldn't.
why would you?
Because sometimes people try to make you feel bad that you're not their friend, or that you don't hang out with them, or that you don't see them, or whatever.
Who has the time? Like, who at
But this is the
30-something
point,
years of
right?
age, 40 years of age, is walking around thinking like, why won't they be my friend? Like, you don't want to be my friend.
It
okay.
happens. It's real.
Wish
It's
you
real.
well. Good luck. God bless.
It
You know, like
happens.
that. That's pathetic. I don't know what else to say.
But it's
If I'm ever that
kind of
person,
sad
put
because
me
you
down.
don't want to be mean, right? But I think
It doesn't mean you're being mean.
I know, but there's like an element of guilt that exists when you're in a situation like that, where you're
I
like,
think
I
that's
am in
fair.
my zero
You know,
fucks
like,
given.
Sure,
era.
because you're a good
trying
person
to
and
be
you're not.
mean.
Right.
I'm
Not
just
being
trying to
mean.
be protective of my time and my priorities, and that's really it. It's not about not wanting.
Who do you hang out with? Who are you hanging out with when
It's
you're not
not-
hanging out
I'm
with
not
me?
saying-
Because I'm telling you now, like I'm
hang out
gonna
with
like start
anyone.
weeding out people for you. It's ridiculous. I don't know who you're talking about, and I want to be like,
I'm not talking about.
I'm gonna
anything
give you
specific.
the message in layman's terms. You're not our people, okay? Like that's it. Like no
But that's what
ill
I'm
will.
saying. It happens, right? Where there are people who
This is why I
wanna
don't leave
be
the house.
part of your
This is
people.
why I don't leave the
Well,
house.
how do you
Who's
handle
gonna
it?
deal with this shit? I don't know. What
Am
you're
I
doing.
crazy? Is this normal?
No, I think it's definitely true. Is that there are people that, you know, as you grow and as you're out and about more, you make more and more connections. There's the chance that you have people that kind of try and infiltrate, and it's just not a fit, or you don't resonate with them,
Right.
or they're in a different stage of life where like it's not worth.
And that's usually what it
your
is. It's
while.
different stages of life more so than anything.
Right.
It's like your priorities are not aligned with
Right.
my priorities, and so sorry, it's not a good fit.
Right, not a fit.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just entirely too blunt about whoever it is that I don't want to hang out with. They know.
I mean,
I'm just like, I'm good. Like,
Again,
we don't-
I'm not
we're- it's
hanging
not
out with
happening.
anyone I don't want to hang out with. I'm just saying. Like,
You're telling me that people are like, will you be my friend?
I never. What? I didn't say that. I didn't.
You
say
said it in
that.
so many words,
Oh
Jessica.
my
I know what you're
God,
saying.
That's not what I said. It's
ridiculous.
That's not what I said.
Okay.
I mean, yes, that has happened several times.
I know.
If we're being
Well,
honest.
Oh,
But it's weird.
when you start finding yourselves around these people, or you specifically, I mean, you could call me too. I'll tell people to go away for you too. But if there's anybody who's like doing this, just call me. You know, I like be the mouth.
No, you're mean. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not
trying
being
not to
mean.
be
I'm being direct.
And that's where the guilt
People-
comes in.
No, I'm direct.
I don't want to make
I'm not
anyone
mean.
feel bad, but
Nobody wants to make anybody feel bad, but like, I just don't understand how somebody could even have
How do
the
you
mental capacity to be
but
like,
people don't.
at this
This is
age,
what I'm
be
saying.
like,
Like, not
"Will you be
everyone's
my
level of
friend?"
social awareness is the same.
Yes,
fucking weird.
that's a good way to put it.
It's not the same. And so you have these people who don't have this social awareness who are saying things that are making me uncomfortable, and I feel badly, but
Who is it?
I'm not saying anything. There are multiple
Just
people.
tell me who it-
It's
give me
not
a list. I
one
want a
person.
list.
There are multiple people.
It's so funny.
And it's like, it's so uncomfortably weird. It's weird. I don't know. I don't know how to handle this. Now you just made it weird.
I made it weird? What are you talking about?
Because now I sound like a mean girl. Like, Psh, you can't sit with
You
me."
didn't even say that I said it, people. I said it, all right? And it's not that you can't sit with us. You can sit with us, but like, we're not gonna hang out. It's cool. Like, we could have lunch if we happen to be at the same restaurant.
Oh
Like,
my God.
I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know anybody like that.
I
don't
feel
know.
like it's just
I have to leave
more
the
of the
house
point of
more.
that as an adult you get to or whatever. Like you get to a point where you're selective about who you spend your time with. And that the point
I agree
is
with that.
you should not feel guilty for not spending time with people that you don't want to.
Exactly.
And I think as females overall we need to learn to say no more.
I say no all the time. It's fabulous.
It's so
Get on my
empowering.
page.
I love
I
saying
go
no.
on D&D. I'm like, I don't care. You're
I know
reaching
that
out
you
to me
do.
unless somebody's dead or the house is on fire. I'm not answering. I don't care. This is
You
my
do.
time.
She's very good about it. It's
Well,
annoying sometimes.
It's a trauma response. Thank you very much. Okay, but that's okay. I'm good with it.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. I'm living in a peaceful world over here.
I feel
That might
sorry
not
for
sound
our
like it, but
editors right now.
I guess like we could make some new friends, but I'm just like
I don't want any new friends.
It's not even that I want to be more friends. I just don't
Just
want.
Lauren.
I'm
the only one.
Totally, like we could totally be friends. I just don't have high expectations of me because I don't like to leave my house.
Okay,
I
so-
go on D&D.
Sum up the episode. Jess and Ashley seemed really nice. They invited Lauren to come here to hang out because they really do love her vodka brand. But they don't want to be friends with her
No,
or
I
anyone
want to be
else.
friends with her. No, I don't want to be friends with whoever. is
Wait till the
saying that
comments
to you.
when this episode
Whoever is
drops.
begging you to be their friend, I don't want to be friends with them. That's what it is. You don't even want to be friends with her. Trust me, she's not
know
all
I
that
don't.
great.
Oh my God. All right, we're moving on from that subject.
Anyway.
We're moving on.
God, whatever.
She's like, these bitches are fucking crazy. I don't know why I agreed to do this.
No, I'm not. I wish I had a sister. I have two brothers, so it's so different.
It is.
It's
We have
so
We have a
different.
brother. He's not the smartest.
We love him though. He's pretty.
He is very pretty. If you need a model for your, well, it doesn't really fit the brand.
Well, he's a one-nut warrior.
He is.
He survived cancer. He did. He survived it twice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Welcome
Yes.
back.
Hi.
What were you like
Yes.
dazing off? Are you with us?
I was. Sorry.
Was I boring you? Like, really?
All right.
Anyway.
Back to being a girl's girl. So anyway, regardless of how this all seemed, we were super excited to have you here today.
We were.
I was
we
excited
are.
to be here. Thank you.
Super excited to continue to promote your product because we really do love what you're doing and we really are girls. And I think it's just so exciting. I don't know if there's
And we
anything
like
you
you.
want to like.
We like
of
you.
course.
Okay.
I don't know if there's anything you want to like talk about as far as like stuff you've got coming up. What's next for you guys? What do you want our listeners to know?
Yeah, so anyone who doesn't live in New Jersey who listens, we can ship direct to consumer in 47 states. So you can go right on JooicyTitsVodka.com. Don't forget the vodka. I don't know what pops up if you leave that out.
Valid. That happens with Sisters Uncensored sometimes
I
too.
bet. Okay.
Okay.
And that's so funny. Back to Sarah Blakely, when she started out with Spanx, she said some things were popping up when people look up Spanx. So we have
really?
that. Yep.
Wow.
All in
interesting.
common.
didn't
Look
think
at
about
that.
Look at that.
I love it.
Full circle.
That's
So-
amazing.
There's great merch on the site. Obviously, the vodka ships to other states. And then for our home state of New Jersey, we have a lot of tastings coming up. We have a lot of events. So follow us along on Instagram. That's a great place to kind of see what we're up to, where we're going to be.
What stores are you guys in?
So local to this area, we're in a bunch in Matawan, Aberdeen area, Westfield, Mountainside, Toms River, right before you go over the bridge into Ocean City, New Jersey. Slip into the DMs if you want to know more concrete lists, because there's a lot of them.
We need to get you up in Sussex County.
Yes, I have to head north too.
I know.
Right
I'm ready.
now, we're self-distributing. So on top of getting new accounts, nurturing tastings, we're actually doing the deliveries.
That's
so,
hard.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're
That's a lot.
in the car a lot.
Oh,
but-
I bet. I bet. Well, if you need help in our
Respect the
area,
hustle.
you let
Thank
us know.
you.
We
Yeah.
got you.
Thank you so much,
Absolutely.
and thank you for having me.
I
today.
was
This
looking, we were
so
down the
fun.
shore like all weekend and like in Wildwood, and then we were in Ocean City. But when we were like Wildwood, Cape May area, all the liquor stores we were in, I was like, are we here?
so
Are we here?
good.
But it's funny because even the stores that it's in, it's gone. Like it sells out super quick.
Yeah, it moves,
that's
which is
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah,
Good
it's
for
great.
you.
Thank
Super
you.
proud
Good
of
for you.
Thank
Love
you
it.
so much.
Absolutely.
So excited to have you here.
Yeah, it was really
was
nice.
fun to be here.
It was really nice. Look, we made a new friend. This is the one reason I left the house. Just kidding.
Oh God. I still feel sorry for our editors.
You don't have to edit anything that I said. I don't care.
All right,
All right. That's a wrap?
we're wrapping.
All right. Thanks for coming. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.